what if, right? What if you had the gift of sight, right? What if you were given by the divine, right? God, universe, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same energy, just interchange the words to me, right? But what if God showed you this new life that you could have, right? You could step into this new timeline, right? You could have a complete do-over in life. Complete do-over in life. And within that life is everything you've ever desired, right? Just abundance of everything. Maybe in that timeline, there's a new partner that is so incredibly, just perfectly made for you, your divine counterpart. And there's a lot of love in that, right? And there's not even just a job or a career, but there's a calling waiting for you that you're so passionate about, that to do this calling would be healing for you, and not just for you, but it would be healing for others around you, right? It would be powerful. And God says to you, well, in order to do this, in order to have this life, right, you need to go on this journey. You need to do this healing work, because you need to step into this new life with new eyes, new perspective, new thinking. You have to take away the old, erase the old of everything that you used to think was true, and replace it, expand your consciousness, right? And so you go and you do this work, right? And you do your shadow work, and you do the inner child healing, and you learn to reparent yourself, and you break down all this shit, and you're doing this work not just from this lifetime, but from every lifetime you've lived, and from your ancestors and within your lineage. Like, you're doing the shit, you're doing the work, right? And throughout this, it's hard, it's not easy, right? And God keeps showing you, right? Shows you this life, shows you this new timeline, this manifestation that's waiting for you, and keeps telling you, you're doing great, right? You're exactly where you need to be. Have faith, trust, right? You're divinely, all these things, and keep showing you, like, and that's what you're working for. So through all this, and sometimes you're tired. Oh my God, sometimes you're like on your knees and you're like, God, please, Lord, I'm done. I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm exhausted. And God says, I believe in you. You got this, right? Or you think you're good, and then you hear that God say, you hear that voice, universe, whatever, say, hey, you need to get back down into your shadow. You need to go back down in your shadow. When you think you're good, I want you to go deeper. And when you think you're good, I want you to go deeper. And I want you to go deeper. And I want you to go deeper. And you go so fucking deep into your shadow. You go so deep that now you're so comfortable in your shadow. It feels like home. You go so deep that you're sitting down having coffee with the devil on the daily. You're having existential, philosophical conversations with the devil. The devil's a mirror, right? And you realize, wow, me and the devil, we're not so different. Because if God exists within you, so does the devil. And the devil can look like lots of different things. And so now you do all this work, right? You climb through all these levels. It's kind of like Dante's Divine Comedy, right? Well, you start in Inferno, start in hell, and you go to Purgatory, and now you're here. You're at the gates of paradise. And you're here, and you're like, all right, Lord, I'm here, I've done this. And the universe tells you, hey, you're doing great. You're ready. You are ready to step into your new timeline. You are ready to have all these things, all these manifestations, all these things that have been keeping you going for years while you're doing this hard work. And then God says, but I just want to let you know, in order to really step into this, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. And you're like, oh, okay, well, listen, I've made so many sacrifices. Like, I've done all these things. What, I can do this. I can do it. What is it? What are you asking me? I can do it. And what if the sacrifice is people, though? What if it means you having to leave behind certain people in your life that you genuinely care and love them? You love them. But you also know, though, there's been a lot of hurt, right? There's been a lot of hurt and even some betrayal. And maybe they don't get you. They don't understand you, and they try and they do their best, but you've done that work, that you accept them for who they are, right? And you love them anyway, right? And you accept and you honor and you respect where they are on their journey. But God still says you can't take them with you. You need to make a choice. So here you are at a crossroads, on the threshold of paradise. What do you do? Do you leave the people that you love behind? And you do this knowing that they're going to genuinely be hurt. They're not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. There's potential for them to be resentful towards you. There's potential for them to talk about you and say things about you to other people, and you are not going to be able to defend yourself. You're just going to have to be okay with knowing certain things and just okay. People are going to think what they think, right? And so that's interesting, right? And so I think, like, is that really who is this God, right? Am I making a deal with God, the divine, or are you making a deal with the devil? Which is it? Or maybe the real question and the real moral of it all is that there's a very fine, blurry line between God and the devil, between what we consider good and evil. Maybe there is not and or everything, because wouldn't you say, if it's God, wouldn't God say you can have it all, you don't have to make that sacrifice? I don't know, but maybe that's the question, though, right? Is it good, bad, light, shadow, or maybe it just is? Maybe it just is. And maybe that is, right? There's just this very fine, blurry line between those two worlds. I don't know, just my existential, philosophical thoughts for this moment.